Hey guys, welcome back to Stud Cubing, and today I'm going to be doing my full review on the Moyu RS3M 2020 and the Moyu RS3M Super 2020. So, let's get into the video. Okay, so we're first going to be doing a review on the normal one. So, for this cube, I definitely think it turns really well. It's very smooth, very airy, and the corner cutting is fine, which that corner cutting can also be fixed by popping one of these centers off and using the adjustment system, which I'll also be talking about today. So first, let's unscrew this cube, and I'm going to show you guys what's inside. Alright, so take the screw and the spring out. Keep those together. Let's pop this piece out and the center. Alright, so I'm going to keep all this together because that's adjustment system stuff. And now let's take a look inside the cube. So these pieces are really nice. You see they do float together very nicely. And the magnet strength, unlike most Moyu cubes, they have this little notch in the middle that basically just keeps the pieces together. So even if you have like a really fast setting, it will always just be a super stable cube. So this one is very unlikely to pop. Corner cut, it might twist corners though. So if you have a big problem with corner twisting, then you might not want this cube. But stability-wise, this cube is very unlikely to pop unless it's really loose. So I'm going to put this cube back together and get into the actual cube stuff. Okay, so now the cube is back together, I start talking about it. So I actually don't use this one as my main. I've been using both these cubes, and I've set them up. I actually like the Super a lot better. It's a lot more stable. It turns just a little bit faster. And the corner cutting problem that in the last video or at least a couple videos ago, I said that was a big problem. I just loosened the cube a little bit, and that problem is fixed. Now it has just as good, if not better, corner cutting than normal one does. So I use this one as my main. So this was not completely set up yet, but I'm going to be talking about this one because this is the one that most people are going to be buying. They don't usually want to spend $14 on a cube like this, but this is a very good $8 cube. I really suggest getting it. Either of these works just fine. There's not too much difference. But doing some solves, I definitely average better on these two cubes than I do on my GAN. So this is definitely my new main, which is what I was hoping for. So yeah, great cubes. But now I'm going to get into the adjustment system because that is really not as complicated as some cubes are, but it's decently complicated. So I just wanted to explain this to you today. Okay, so now that I popped all the centers off, I can actually do some of the work on the tension and the tightness. So the way when you open the box, you get the three basic tools. This one is a screw. This one is a screwdriver. It's pretty obvious. That lets you screw and unscrew these to adjust the tightness. If you want to take the cube apart, which I don't know why you want to do that, but for some reason you just want to see the internals, you could completely unscrew one and then the whole cube pops right out. But this is just the tightness, so that will affect corner cutting. Basically, the looser it is, the better the corner cutting will be, but the more likely the cube is to pop. This cube is very unlikely to pop to begin with, so I suggest it being pretty loose, which is what I have mine on. But if you like your cubes tight and stable, then that's perfectly fine. You can make it really tight. This tool right here is just a replacement for one of these in case you lose them. So this isn't actually a tool that affects anything. It's just a replacement piece, so we won't be worrying about that. But this this affects tension. So basically, how tight are the springs. So basically, tighter cubes, they go together a little bit more, and it's a little bit easier to do accurate turns. It doesn't turn as fast, but with looser springs, the cube turns a lot faster. So I haven't completely set this one up yet. So this cube is a lot faster and a little bit too fast for me. So I thought I might as well set this one up. Whereas this guy, my perfect speed, I actually have it at the tightest setting. I might change that later in this video. But generally, any setting is good for you. Just whatever works. You take this tool and you can find the little notches. The two little dials are opposite of each other. And then, if you look very closely at this here, on the camera, you can see that there's these two little dials here. And you can just turn these with your fingernail, but that's not very good. What you're going to want to do is use this little tool right here, put that inside this, and then turn. And you'll hear every single one click. It's harder to kind of see which setting you're on, but once you hear the big click, that means you're on the first setting or the loosest setting. The farther you go down, the tighter it is. So this is the loosest. So this is the fastest turning. I can do a U2 pretty easily. And it's really out of control for me. But I'm going to turn everything to the tightest setting, and then I'll get back to you. So I tightened everything up. So now the cube is a lot slower, but it's a lot easier to control as well. So generally, if you're a very fast cuber, you're going to want very, very loose cubes so you can have really fast turn speed. But if you turn very inaccurately, you're going to want tighter, like me. I don't turn accurately. So both of these cubes right now are on the tightest setting, because it helps me be able to turn slower. It helps with my look ahead, and it also helps me being able to actually see what I'm doing. And it's basically stops my mess ups as much, and just makes my solves altogether faster and better. It sounds counterintuitive to have a slower cube and then solve faster, but if you're not as fast of a cuber like I am, it is generally a good idea to have a lot tighter cubes. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps me a lot, and I'll see you next week.